Yeah, hi. Welcome everyone to game week 7 of this season of ZQL season 2. And we have in seat 1 Rajiv De Silva, seat 2 Pat Gibson, seat 3 Rajiv Rai, and seat 4 Prithwish Datta. And usual rules apply. Both hands on screen at all times, please. And just for sake of parity, and 30 seconds on direct, 5 seconds on pass. And without further ado, I will just start off with the first question for Rajiv De Silva. And all the best, everyone. Here are the first. Yeah. Okay. Let's go back. Yeah. Okay. Okay. So that's all start. Rajiv De Silva, this is the first question.
Yeah.
Okay. Which real life politician and barrister Alik Padamse portray in Richard Attenborough's Gandhi? He was the first Governor General of his nation, and the busiest airport in the same nation today carries his name.
Muhammad Ali Jinnah.
Jinnah is correct. That's received this point. And the second question. In 1945, Indian botanist Janaki Ammal co-authored an atlas of cultivated plants based on each plant's number of what thread-like structures of nucleic acids and protein. Considered a Bible among plant breeders, this atlas helped botanists predict the outcome of crossing different plant groups and understanding their ploidy and hereditary patterns. What thread-like structures?
DNA.
From?
Okay, mitochondrial DNA.
I'll have to pass you to Pat.
Chromosomes?
Chromosomes is what I'm looking for. Yeah, I like that. So I was supposed to give a prompt on words like chromatin, and DNA, but yeah, chromosomes is what was intended. So yeah, this will left at Pat, and these are your directs. Okay. Since operation started in 1948, Indians topped the list of casualties suffered while serving as a part of global missions in what pacifist role? Members of this group are known by an alliterative nickname which refers to their distinctive headgear that helps them stand out in conflict zones. The nickname is also acceptable.
UN peacekeepers.
UN peacekeepers is correct, and also
blue berets.
The blue berets as well. So blue helmets, acceptable. And your second direct fact, in 2014, which Australian rapper, inspired by the Bollywood disco era, visited Mumbai to shoot a music video for her song Bounce. Her first single, Fancy, featuring Charlie XCX, and her appearance in Ariana Grande's Problem saw her blossom into the second musical act behind the Beatles to rank at number 1 and 2 simultaneously on the Hot 100 with their debut appearances.
Iggy Azalea?
Absolutely correct. Iggy Azalea. Kelly is also acceptable. One. And Rajiv Rai, you have questions now. Okay. Which Air India destination is the subject of this vintage poster? The poster alludes to the companion of Janika and Zinika in the city, who the Air India Maharaja is trying to protect himself from.
Brussels.
Yeah, Brussels is correct. The reference being to the space statues, also Mannequin in the other one. And the second one, Atul Dodia is an Indian artist known for his quirky style influenced by Western art. In his homage to Ravi Verma's Ganga Vataran, he replaces Ganga, who is stepping down from the heavens, with an early 20th century artwork. Which artwork was exhibited at the Salon des Indépendants? The artwork is blanked out in the visual. Ten seconds.
I'll go with
Rajiv. ask you to not.
Monk's scream.
No, correct. You have to fish.
Nude descending down the staircase.
Absolutely correct. This is Duchamp's nude descending down the staircase. Him being stepping down part. Very well stolen there. And Prithwish, your directs now. Okay. This Indian tennis veteran, Leander Pace, holds a career Grand Slam in mixed doubles, winning each of the 4 Grand Slams with different partners. Pace's partner when he achieved the feat, winning the French Open for the first time in 2016. He became the first Swiss player to win a Grand Slam before returning in the following decades, retiring finally in 2017 as world number 1 in doubles with a career slam of her own.
Martina Hingis.
Yes, Martina Hingis, the Swiss legend. And your second one, Prithwish. Zilenia indica, or the blank apple, 8 letters, is a plant commonly seen in the tropical Asian regions. Its common name comes from the fact that its fruit was accessible only to a particular herbivore, which also acted as a major seed disperser for the tree. Which herbivore is this?
Elephant.
Elephant will fetch you your second point as well, and that concludes the round 1. Nice symmetry there. Rajiv De Silva 1, Pat Gibson 3, Rajiv Rai 1, and Prithwish 3 as well. Moving on to round 2, Rajiv De Silva, your first question. Major volcanic eruptions drove the breakup of Gondwana in visual, beginning about 180 million years ago. The first of these eruptions part off Africa and South America, while the second pulled Australia and Antarctica away from Gondwana and the Indian plate. Which island, now the 4th largest in the world, was conjoined with the Indian plate during this period? It is geologically a part of the Somali plate.
Madagascar.
Madagascar is absolutely correct. And your second one? In 2019, which American electronic music producer shot a Shah Rukh Khan tribute music video during his India tour for the song Viva? Known for wearing a custom white helmet in public appearances, this DJ has found success through singles like Silence with Khalid, Wolves with Selena Gomez, and Happier with Bastille.
I'll go with Armin van Buren.
Is not correct. Moving on to Rajiv Rai.
Pass.
Passing to Pat.
Marshmallow.
Marshmallow is correct as yes, looks like this is Marshmallow, or acceptably as .com or Comstock. And Pat, your directs now. The Tata Group is an Indian conglomerate that has established its presence globally via partnerships and acquisitions. In 2001, they entered the insurance sector through a joint venture with which American company? Place of pride between 2006 and 2010 on what was believed to be the world's best-selling football merchandise. Ten seconds back.
IOC.
IOC, Rajiv Rai.
AIG.
AIG is correct, and they have tied up with Manchester United to be their sponsor. Yes, good deal. Fine. And yeah, good steal there. And Pat, your second direct. Indrojal Comics was a comic book series in India that published a number of syndicated international comic series. Which comic series, featuring its titular costume crime fighter operating in the fictional African country of Bengala, was its most popular feature on issues?
The Phantom.
What is this question? Come on. How is this even a question?
Exactly the reaction every game has had, probably. So yeah,
Maybe that was the answer slide, yeah. I mean,
I thought this was the answer slide, and then
I had drawn the same reactions in our game as well. So, organizers being very generous here. So Rajiv Rai, you have the next now. In 1960, Indian meteorologist Anna Mani started studying which inorganic molecule and developed an instrument to measure its concentration in the atmosphere. A variation of the Dobson meter, this instrument was stationed in the 1980s in a particular large geographical area to analyze the concentration of the molecule.
ozone.
Ozone is indeed correct. Good answer there. And the second one. Indian involvement in the UN peacekeeping mission started with which conflict in the early 50s, 1950s? That is. The custodian forces of India set up camps for the protection and repatriation of prisoners of war as part of the Operation Big Switch.
I'll go with the Korean War.
Is well answered. Right answer to go with. If you need the Korean War, as you can see, it's written Korean as well. Acceptable answer or 625 War, or even if you want to go with Choson War. Prithwish, your directs now. Which 2008 film features Irfan Khan playing an inspector trying to quiz the protagonist for suspected wrongdoing? The movie is a loose adaptation of a 2005 novel by an Indian author and diplomat. The title of the film refers to the background of the protagonist and his newfound status.
Slumdog Millionaire.
Correct. Directed by Danny Boyle. And your second one, Prithwish. Which real-life statesman and military leader did Athol Fugard portray in Gandhi? An internationalist who plays a key role in the founding of the League of Nations, United Nations, and the Commonwealth of Nations. He also served as Prime Minister of the Union of South Africa from 1919 to 1924 and 1939 to 1948.
Smarts.
Is a super recall there. Lovely answer there. This is indeed a General Jan Smuts. And that's another 2-on-2 for you. And we've completed round 2. Scores of 2, 5, 4, and 5. Rajiv Rai, here are your questions for round 3. In his book Olympus, an Indian retelling of Greek myths, mythologist Devdutt Patnaik points out compelling connections between Greek and Indian mythologies. He finds shades of the Indian god Shiva, in which son of Zeus and Semele, as per most accounts, often are associated with the intoxication and madness.
Bacchus.
Prompt.
That's sorry, that's all I have.
Okay, good luck. Passing to Rajiv Rai.
Dionysus.
Dionysus is the one we're looking for again. So yeah, this was a prompt on Bacchus, but Dionysus was the acceptable answer. Bad luck there, but as before, here's your next direct point. Identify this cotton fabric commonly used by the British in colonial India to dress formally in hot weather. It gets its name from the Persian words for milk and sugar because of its puckered appearance, and it often moves in narrow white and blue stripes.
The tweed.
Seersucker.
Seersucker is a super answer. Seer and sucker being sugar. So, or railroad stripe of acceptable. Good skill. And Pat, your directs now. Pterocarpus indicus is a tree species native to Southeast Asia, Northern Australasia, and the Western Pacific. It is often used to make the keys on the musical instrument blank 7 letters, which instrument sharing its name with the original default ringtone on phones from a certain company.
Marimba.
Marimba is a super answer. Correct. And default Apple ringtones. And Pat, your second. Bay billing in Himachal Pradesh attracts enthusiasts of which recreational activity for its world famous thermal currents. It involves flying in a pod suspended below a fabric wing, either individually or in tandem with an experienced pilot.
Wing gliding.
I will pass to Rajiv De Silva.
Paragliding.
Paragliding is what we're looking for. That's the sport. And
Here again, it looked like an answer.
Yeah.
yeah. Yeah, exactly. So Rajiv Rai, you're the next now. Okay. In 2015, Tata Sky became the first Indian company to provide 4K definition set-top boxes through its collaboration with which pioneering multimedia company. It trades under Paris Euronext with the ticker symbol TCH. The logo forms the visual. Ten seconds. We'll have to ask
Pass.
Rajiv.
Pass.
Okay, Rajiv De Silva. Yeah.
I pass.
Okay, Prithwish.
Technicolor.
Technicolor is indeed correct. TCH is
Oh,
Technicolor. And yeah, a good steal there. And Rajiv Rai, yes, second correct. After separating from Gondwana, the Indian Madagascar plate continued to move north until it split 88 million years ago in the visual, following a Marian event. Which island group in the sub-Antarctic Indian Ocean marks the location of this massive underwater volcanic eruption? Administered by South Africa, this group of two islands is named after a 19th century monarch's father.
This is the King Hakon.
Okay, I'll have to pass to Rajiv De Silva
pass.
and Pat
Pass.
and British.
I'll pass.
Okay, anyone taking non-count?
This is Alexander.
Is it Prince Edward
No.
Islands? No.
This is the Prince Edward Islands, is the one.
Ah.
Prince Edward, father of Queen Victoria. Yeah, surprisingly, is the other one there. Collective brain fit. With which she directs. This series is about a group of six dealing with love and life in the big city, which American sitcom that released a special reunion show in 2021 is it inspired from?
Friends.
Non-romance countrymen having anything to do with it. Yeah, 10 is correct. And your second one, Prithwish. Okay. Atul Dodia's Lamentation juxtaposes the recreation of a cubist work by Pablo Picasso against his image of Gandhi leading a group taking their blank blank, both 5 letters, towards the independence struggle. Which work that shows a little girl taking her blank blank is referenced here?
I'll say small steps.
Okay, passing to Rajiv De Silva
Say Dandi March.
was what I had guessed. Pat,
First steps.
first step is what was acceptable. First step is by Pablo Picasso. Yeah, organizing list there by Prithwish, and yeah, that's his 100% record on all ones. Moving on to round four. Before that, Rajiv De Silva on 3, Pat Gibson on 7, Rajiv Rai on 5, and Prithwish Datta on 8. Still a long way to go. Moving on to round 4, Rajiv De Silva, your question. Oroxylum indicum is known for its fruits, which are up to 1.5 meters long. Precariously hang down from branches. This is supposed to resemble a sharp weapon associated with an individual who was thought to have lived in the 4th century BC, giving it nickname Tree of Blank letters, whose name is Blanca.
Damocles.
Damocles, as you can see, it references the sword of Damocles, and it's a good answer there. Your second one, a popular feature on individual comics issues. Which comic series features its title a magician using an unusually fast hypnotic technique against various villains? It was created by Lee Falk before he created the Phantom. The magician shares his name with a plant in the Harry Potter universe that is known for restorative properties.
Mandrake the Magician.
Yes, indeed, the Mandrake. Sorry for everyone, and Pat, your directs now. Which American double specialist was Leander Pace's partner Leander Pace's partner when he won Wimbledon for the first time in 1999? She currently holds the record for most match wins and most matches played in WTA doubles history, having won the title every single year between 1993 and 2012.
Smith.
Not Smith. Old favorite. Rajiv Rai.
Pass.
Rajiv De Silva.
Pass.
And Prithwish.
Cara Black.
Is incorrect. This is the American Lisa Raymond.
Lisa Ray.
And Gibson, your second question. Which 2006 film features Irfan Khan playing a first-generation immigrant husband and father? It is based on the 2003 debut novel of an author who previously had won the Pulitzer Prize for Fiction in 2000. The title of the novel and the film is a reference to the identity crisis faced by one of the central characters.
The White Tiger.
White Tiger, Rajiv Rai.
Namesake.
Namesake by Jhumpa Lahiri. Correct? That's the correct answer. And Rajiv Rai, your direction. Which real-life naval officer and administrator did Peter Harlow portray in Gandhi? During the end stages of World War II, he served as the Supreme Allied Commander of the Southeast Asia Command and oversaw the recapture of Burma and Singapore from the Japanese.
Mountbatten.
Correct. And your second question now. Yeah. In 2015, which British rock band shot a music video themed on the festival of Holi for their single Hymn for the Weekend, featuring on the album A Head Full of Dreams? This is the band's most watched music video on YouTube, followed by Paradise, Adventure of a Lifetime, and The Science.
Coldplay.
Yes, Coldplay is indeed correct. Correct. And moving on to Prithwish's direction. In 1991, following a treaty after decades of negotiation, Indian troops were deployed by the United Nations Transition Authority in blank, 8 letters, also known as UNTSC, to resist local guerrillas and conduct peaceful elections. These elections brought Norodom Ranariddh into the role of Prime Minister in which country?
Cambodia.
Cambodia is indeed, that's a C in UNTSC. And the second one, which Air India destination is the subject of this vintage poster? The first service to this capital city started in 1950 via Aden in order to serve the large Indian expatriate community in the region.
Nairobi.
Nairobi is well played there. It's indeed Nairobi. We have the quiz. We have Prithwish leading with 10, Rajiv Rai on 8, Pat Gibson on 7, and Rajiv De Silva on 5. Still at Delta on 5. Moving on to Rajiv De Silva's question for round 5. The Zimbabwean doubles player was Leander Pace's partner when he won the US Open for the first time in 2008. Hailing from a tennis family, she is only one of 4 women in the Open era to have a career Grand Slam in mixed doubles, and also paired up with Sania Mirza near the end of her career.
This is Cara Black.
Of course it is, as it usually happens in quizzes. This is indeed Cara Black. And Rajiv Bisla, your second correct. In 2010, Inditex SA partnered with Datta Retail Enterprise Trent to launch its flagship fast fashion chain in India. Which brand, whose first store opened in 1979 in Coruña, Spain, initially planned to name it after a popular film directed by Michael Capriani, but was forced to make alterations?
Zara.
Yeah.
Tara is correct.
Come on,
Yeah.
Rajiv. They're all our staple Tata Crucible questions.
Yeah, I can't believe after all these years we are still answering Tata questions.
I think that's about nostalgia. I guess we've had your questions now. The Mahabharata tells the story of the demoness Putana who disguises herself as a beautiful woman and tries to kill the infant Krishna by breastfeeding him poisoned milk. Krishna ends up sucking out her life along with the milk, which hero from Greek mythology, as Devdutt Patnaik points out in his book, has a similar episode in his childhood when he sucks out enough milk from the breast of the goddess he was named after.
Heracles?
After this, Heracles, Hercules being the full answer. That's the second. Which real life British politician did Terence Hardiman portray in Gandhi? He was one of the founders of the Labour Party and served as Prime Minister of the United Kingdom in 1924 and again between 1929 and 1935.
MacDonald?
Yes, Ramsay MacDonald is indeed correct. That's 2-1-2 for you as well. And we're moving on to Rajiv Rai's questions. Identify this plain woven fabric made of unbleached rough cotton, with latter variants dyed or printed with bright hues or woodblock prints. It gets its name from the name of an important port city in southern India, and a breed of cat is named after the fabric due to its coat color.
Calico.
Calico is indeed correct. Calico printing on Calicut. Calico cats. Rajiv Rai, second question. Sumit Sambhalega is an Indian adaptation of an American sitcom whose title suggests that all adore its titular character. Which series starring an Italian American comedian with an alliterative name is this? Any seconds? Will need an answer now, Rajiv.
Pass.
Pass you, Rajiv De Silva.
Everybody loves Raymond.
Yes, indeed, everybody loves a nice steal as well. This is 1 point for you. Everybody loves Raymond.
Shit.
Yeah, Prithwish your directs as well. Now, in 2010, which British folk rock band with a name meant to evoke the sense of an antiquated family business name visited Goa to shoot a music video for their song The Cave? The second album, Babel, with the tracks I Will Wait, Lover of the Light, and Whispers in the Dark, won the Grammy Award for Album of the Year in 2013.
Mumford Sons.
Yeah, Comfort Sons is indeed correct. And the second one, following the split from Madagascar, oceanic crust formation initiated a rotation of the Indian plate. This continued until 66 million years ago, when rifting served a portion of the Indian landmass, leading to the formation of a continental fragment. Which island group at the eastern edge of the Somali Sea, in the visual, lies on the fragment? This group of 115 islands is named after Louis XV's Minister of Finance.
Seychelles.
Seychelles is indeed correct, and the 2-on-2 for you as well. We come to the end of round 5. Scores of 8, 9, 9, and 12. The delta is just round 3. Getting closer. Rajiv De Silva, your questions for round 6. The 1956 creation of the UN Emergency Force, the first peacekeeping mission comprising an armed contingent, was prompted by which conflict for control over a strategically important construction? More than 10,000 Indian soldiers served as buffer in the heat of the peninsula before being asked to leave a decade later, which led to the Six-Day War.
Oh. The Egypt-Israel war.
Yeah, Egypt-Israel is an operatively acceptable answer as well. The Suez Crisis.
This conflict.
Anything of Egypt-Israel or Suez Canal is acceptable. Moving on to Rajiv De Silva's question. Okay, second question. Hampi in Karnataka attracts enthusiasts of which recreational activity for its seemingly endless hillsides covered in egg-shaped granite rock formations, performed without the use of ropes or harnesses. This form of free climbing is named for the type of large rocks favored by climbers.
Pass.
Pass into Pat.
Bouldering.
Bouldering is indeed correct. That's one in the picture as well. And yeah, Pat's next now. Which Air India destination is the subject of this vintage poster? This capital city has played host to one edition of the Summer Olympics as well as the final of an edition of the Men's FIFA World Cup. Only the black band, that is the name of the location in the poster, has been blanked out.
Moscow.
Indeed, this is the red square as you can see in the picture. So this is Moscow. Good answer there. And the second one, Pat. Atul Dodia's Angelina replaces the titular figure in blank blank 8 and 4 letters, respectively, with an Indian woman, which 1960s pop artwork with influences from Hokusai's Great Wave of Kanagawa did Dodia recreate. The work features a young woman engulfed in the ocean and a thought bubble where she dismisses the idea of asking a man named Brad for help.
Drowning Girl.
Drowning Girl by Liechtenstein is indeed correct. And that's the 2-1-2 as well. Rajiv Rai, your minutes. Which Czech American player was Leander Pace's partner when he won the Australian Open for the first time in 2003? He gives her the credit for his longevity as a tennis player, saying that the partner epitomized perseverance and the reinvention that an athlete can go through. She herself accomplished a career Grand Slam in singles, same-sex doubles, as well as mixed doubles.
Martina Navratilova.
Yes, and this is Rajiv's second question. A popular feature on Indrazal comic issues. Which comic series is about the titular hero's attempts to stop the evil Emperor Ming? It was adapted into a cult 1980 film featuring Sam Jones, and it features heavily in the Ted film franchise.
Flash Gordon.
Is indeed a good answer. This is indeed Flash Gordon, and Prithwish your direction for the round. Okay. Identify this wood block printed fabric that gets its name from the Hindi word meaning spotted or speckled. Its wild popularity resulted in fake imitations, and George Eliot is credited with using the adjective form of this word to refer to a fake imitation.
Can't hear you.
Yeah.
Has Prithvish answered?
No,
He
no.
hasn't asked.
Okay, sir.
Chintz.
Is a super answer now. Indeed, this is Chinks. Great answer. And the second direct now, Prithvish. In 2008, Tata Motors entered into a partnership with which Brazilian company for supplying buses to state transport corporations across India? The company was started by a group of Italian immigrants in Caxias do Sul and named in honor of a merchant from the 13th century AD.
Marco Polo buses.
Is indeed correct. This is Marco Polo. And that completes round 6 with scores of 9, 12, 11, and 14. Rajiv Silva, your questions for round 7. Which 2016 film features Irfan Khan playing a provost as assisting the antagonist? It is based on a mystery thriller novel, the fourth from a very successful series. The title of the novel and the film is a reference to a bioweapon named after a famous work by a poet from the 14th century. Seconds.
Pass.
Okay, passing to Rajiv Rai.
Pass.
And Pat
Pass.
and Prithwish. And we have to pass. Well, any non-com guesses? Anyone?
It's one of the Mission Impossible, is it?
No. This is the Dan Brown's Robert Langdon series, so this will be Inferno.
I went till Divine Paradise. Chef, forgot Inferno.
Ah.
14th century.
Century.
Yes. Because Rajiv, this is now your second question. Which Air India destination, founded in the 19th century as the administrative center of the Swan River colony, is the subject of this vintage poster. The poster depicts the black swan, the state bird and emblem of the state. This city is the capital of which Air India destination?
Durban.
Not Durban. Moving on to Rajiv Rai.
Perth.
Perth is indeed correct. That's the state animal of Western Australia. Good answer. Pat, you're the next now. In 1939, Indian physicists Bibha Chaudhary and D.M. Bose detected which hadronic subatomic particle after exposing emulsion plates to cosmic rays near Darjeeling, but failed to investigate further due to World War II. Made of a quark-antiquark pair, it was predicted by Hideki Yukawa, who used the Greek word for intermediate to mean.
Meson.
Meson is the super answer. This is indeed Meson, intermediate. And the second one now, Jassi Jaisi Koi Nahi is an Indian adaptation of a Spanish series about a young woman that lands a job with a leading fashion agency despite her own lack of style. The same Spanish series was also adapted into which American comedy drama series starring America Ferrera?
Ugly Betty.
Is indeed correct, Ugly Betty. And your directs now, Rajiv Rai. Nilpyoides indica is an aquatic plant native to tropical areas around the world. One of the plants appearing in the mysterious Voynich manuscript, it is also called the water blank, it's 9 letters. This is due to the resemblance of its flowers to something abstract versions of which have appeared on the posters of the editions of an event held in Grenoble, Sapporo, Sarajevo, Calgary, etc., among others. What name is this? Blank.
Snowflake.
Snowflake, of course. This is usually seen in Winter Olympic logos. Snowflakes. And that is your second question. The Zanskar River in Ladakh attracts enthusiasts of which recreational activity seeking a class 4 experience to a tight walled canyon of over 4,000 meters elevation. It involves using an inflatable body to navigate rough waters.
I have done this, so I can answer it. Whitewater rafting. In Zanskar. I went to Zanskar once.
Super. This was a nice answer. And moving on to Prithwish direct. Okay. The sage Gautama caused Indra to bear the mark of 1,000 vulvas on his body. At the pleading of other gods, he changed vulvae to ice. Unable to bear the burden of the ice, he eventually handed them to a peacock to decorate its skin. David in his book compares the story to which 100-eyed giant from Greek mythology who also had his eyes taken away and placed on a peacock's tail by an angry Hera.
Argus.
Of course, Kolkata quizzes will have more connections to it as well. It's indeed Argus. And Prithwish, your second direct. A popular feature on Indrojal Comics issues which comic series is named after a foxy sombrero sporting vigilante who defends commoners and indigenous people from exploitation by government officials.
Go over.
Okay.
Did Prithwish say something? No.
Said to scroll up. This is my. I'll say Zorro or Mask of
Yeah,
Zorro.
I
that's
was wondering what took you so long.
I was not sure whether Indrajal did some other thing that
Okay. And a very interesting point now. That's direct there. And moving on to the last round, we have Rajiv De Silva on 9, Pat Gibson, Rajiv Rai both on 14, and Prithwish on 16. Rajiv De Silva, your last two directs. In this Abdul Lodhia artwork, he rather ironically duplicates the 1937 surrealist painting blank, 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 forwards, which are 3, 2, 2, and 10, which artwork, despite its title, is created again in this Lodhia painting. The artwork is blanked out in the visual.
Pass.
Okay, passing to Pat.
Pass.
Okay, Rajiv, right?
pass.
And Prithwish.
pass, but I've seen this painting.
Okay, non-com guesses.
Just got put together.
This is not
Yeah,
good.
non-com.
Not Guernica. I don't know.
Saying
It is
that
not a.
despite its title, it's
Something
created
Yeah,
again.
that's obviously a clue, but
in
Yeah, so not to be reproduced.
Oh, not. Never heard of this. Never heard of this.
painting, but like couldn't have got the
Yeah,
name.
Rajiv, this is last second. And last direct. This is the Indian adaptation of a British series that features a quirky boss, a pair of table-crossed lovers, and an uptight assistant to the regional manager, with series whose storyline more closely mimics the American version.
The Office then.
Because this is indeed The Office. And Pat's directs, last directs now. First question. Following the split from Gondwana and Madagascar, the Indian plate, owing to its thin lithosphere, moved towards Asia at a tremendous pace of 20 centimeters per year. Which island in the Indian Ocean is the site of the volcanic hotspot in the visual that melted away the Indian plate's lithosphere, creating the Deccan crabs 66 million years ago? Its name is meant to reflect meeting or assembly in French. Yeah. 10 seconds back.
Kerguelen.
Is incorrect. Rajiv De Silva.
Mauritius.
Mauritius. Rajiv Rai.
Pass.
And Prithwish.
Anyway, I'll have to take a chance. I'll say Reunion Island.
Reunion or Reunion.
Yeah, but Reunion is not named because of this. I thought of Reunion, but that was due to the French Revolution. Anyways.
I think it says that its name means that. It didn't say that. I think it's named because of that.
Oh, okay, okay. Shit.
That is logic here. So, it's bad like that. And Pat's next direct. Identify this hand-woven pattern fabric that is made of yarn dyed in bright colors and then roughly woven in a checkered pattern. It takes its name from the former name of a South Indian city. In 1994, Antigua and Barbuda adopted a national dress featuring this fabric.
Madras fabric.
It's a super answer. This is indeed Madras fabric. And Madras is an operated part here. And Rajiv Rai, your last two directs. Devdev Patnaik in his book makes a distinction between the god or goddesses of death and the ruler of the head, ruler of the dead. In Hindu mythology, Yama is the ruler of the dead, comparable to Hades, the master of the underworld in Greek mythology, to which Greek personification of death, the son of Nyx and twin of Hypnos, this Patnaik compare Mrityu, the Hindu goddess of death.
Thanatos.
Thanatos is indeed correct. This is Thanatos. And yeah, there's a prompt on Thanos. Not acceptable. Rajiv, your last direct. Which 2015 film features Irfan Khan playing the CEO and owner of the titular entity? The movie is the fourth installment of a very successful film franchise that is based on a 1990 book that warns against the dangers of genetic engineering.
Jurassic Park.
We'll move on to Rajiv De Silva.
Jurassic World.
Is what the helicopter indicates as well. JW is indeed Jurassic World. That's the fourth film. And yeah, bad Mr. Rajiv. The other one did get it. So yeah, this is Jurassic World. Yeah, obviously no prompts acceptable for this. And Prithwish, your last two directs. In 1990, Indian chemist Darshan Ranganathan published a seminal work in simulation of which biochemical cycle that converts highly toxic ammonia to a safer inorganic compound before excretion. This cycle was the first metabolic cycle to be discovered. Hans Krebs and Kurt Henselick in 1932, 5 years before the discovery of the TCA cycle.
Doesn't fit. Nitrogen fixation.
We'll pass on to Pat.
Pass.
Rajiv Rai
Pass.
and Rajiv De Silva.
Pass.
Something
Okay,
like the urea cycle or something.
yes, this is the urea cycle or everything.
Oh, that's all.
Moving on to Prithwish's last direct, and I think more is confirmed for here. Munnar in Kerala attracts enthusiasts of which recreational activity for sliding down a 1800-meter cable-caused mountain on the slope. The activity is also known by a term used to refer to large fruit bats that can be found in the region. Either name is acceptable.
Zip lining or
Zip line or flying fox is absolutely correct. That confirms the first place for Prithwish with 18 on people. Rajiv Rai and Pat Gibson finishing with wins as well, sharing a win, finishing within 3 points with 15 each, and Rajiv De Silva on 11. Great show, everyone. Hopefully you enjoyed the set. And
Well played.
Well done, Prithwish. Well done.
Thanks
Great
for
game.
reading.
Well done.
Well done.
Well done.
Yes, you go.